You know, when I hear these clowns, let me just say this again. I have the time. I want to dedicate my time. And this is another video, same old things. But you see a pattern here. Listen, when I make these videos, it's not because I'm trying to convince anybody that's involved in this that I'm being manipulated. I don't care about them. The truth is, I just want to make sure I put that reality in the clowns that wants me to identify with this manipulation. These mean lowlife, which I'm being sarcastic calling them mean because they're more than just mean, they're trash and they're lowlife and scumbags, really want you to identify with this. I'm hearing this clown, let me just say this better. And excuse my language when I speak. Sometimes it's not just me speaking, they kind of alter my language, what I'm trying to say. I hear these childlike perps who tell me, yeah, I'm taking you to hell because I'm framing you. And they say that when they manipulate me this way. It's a way to make me identify with this. And I'm like, first of all, you're taking yourself to a different hell. You're just framing me. Whatever hell I go through, I'd rather go through that. I'm taking your dumb ass to a hell that is worse than where I'm going. I'm telling you that. I'm being your prophet. I am taking you to a hell that could even be on heaven. Sorry, let me just say this better. I'm taking this trash, these teenage kids, into a hell that could be even on earth. I've been this prophetic person by saying the obviousness, to be honest. These perps think that torture will make people identify with these manipulations. Some of them are teenage kids that are mentally not fully developed. So you understand, they have a skewed sense of reality. They are very, very delusional and are not fully mentally capable to think of reality. Right? So you have these clowns try to gaslight you. It's like, retard, you don't even know who you are. You're just a trash the government is using. You're taking yourself to hell by taking me to this hell. But you'll see. It's me being prophetic as Miss Cleo's was prophetic. It's just being obvious. What you're saying here is the same thing. But they try to mess with me. You see, the picture here is somebody I follow. And he has a family. The first picture there, I was like, man, this looks like a kid. Right? The one when you don't see the whole family. It's like, she look like a kid. It's like, this is a child. I was having a mental battle. See, this is a baby. Like, I thought I was like, maybe a 12-year-old or something like that. At least that's what she looks like. She's like a kid. But in my brain, there was like a mental battle to make me see her like a young adult. I was like, no. And I said it out loud. I was like, that's a child. And it was stimulating me, right? They create like a little sexual stimulation. I'm like, first of all, it's a child. Oh, I think it's a child. And the sexual stimulation, they do that all the time toward the big children. Even people who are not even children, but like young adults. They do this. They just did it earlier on to like some young adults. Like, this is a child. I could tell. It's like this. And I said it out loud. It's a child. And they wanted to create a mental battle. And no one is a child. But above over there, you see like 9. So I'm sure it's like a 9-year-old child. And then you go through the videos. Like, oh, look at this baby, yo. It's a baby. Look over the family there. You see the little girl over there? That's her. Beautiful little girl over there. A baby. And they were trying to make me look at her as like a young adult. It's like, this is the way they manipulate my brain. And immediately you hear, I'm taking you to jail. It's like, I'm taking you to hell. Sorry, let me just say this. You're taking yourself to hell to take me to jail. And you're not taking me to jail. You're framing me. And you think that you framing me is going to make me identify with this. They are manipulating my brain in these degrading ways. Then try to find ways to make me identify with this manipulation. I'll make a million videos if I have to. Of the same thing. Their evidence is how they manipulate my brain. I will never identify with this. I know my brain's being played with. And I know the pedophiles are the entities that empowers this trash to take me to jail. This guy was making noise campaign behind me. I wish I could capture that. And this is like the noise campaign, all supposed to make you think that this is you. Like, I'll never identify with this. They forced me. Let me just say this again and target video. I say that understanding there's an ecosystem of people who wants me to identify with this. Like, it's you. Their job is to make me identify with this. They just saw me going back to back with these manipulations and making videos about it. From the little kids to the older kids, to like, it was like non-stop. And I don't mind making videos of this, because this purpose, they need to live a life where they are supposed to make me identify with this. These videos are not to explain what's happening to me. Everybody knows. It's also for me to put that in the faces of this trash. Do you think I don't know that you manipulate my brain? You're gonna do that all the time. This video sounds just like the other one I made. And it's different fashion they play with me. Sometimes they try to make me look at this kid. Like this kid, initially, they were trying to play my brain to look at her like a young adult. I literally had to say out loud, it's a child. I had to say that. Because in my brain, they were trying to make me see her like an adult. Then I'm like, whoop, I look at the video, oh my gosh, there's no way. Like in that, when over there, there's no way to even try to trick the brain to see her as an adult. It's like it's a baby. A 9-year-old baby. A very young child. And then there's clowns that they contract. Like, yeah, no, I'm taking you to jail. It's like, yes, you're going to frame me. You who are manipulating my brain. Sorry, you who won't manipulate my brain, who's framing me. Yes, you will frame me just like you manipulate my brain. Just like you want me to identify with this. This trash of the low life working for pedophiles. They even forced me to but let me just say this again, because they want me to be scared to say that. They start giving me sexual stimulation when I initially saw this picture. Let me repeat that. They manipulate my brain to have sexual arousals toward this child. And then they're like, no, we mapped it. This is the terminology they use when they say they manipulate my brain to have sexual arousals. Because they don't want to say, we manipulate your brain to have sexual arousals. Because they will be validating that they are this low life. And so, instead of saying, we're manipulating your brain to have sexual arousals, we're mapping. They're low life trash. So I can just stay strong and understand that whatever noise campaign, whatever disorienting tactic they're utilizing to try to confuse you, disorient you, or make you think you're not being manipulated, please understand they literally are altering your brain in a way to create the desired experiences they want you to have. Don't have doubt about that. Stay strong. And do not be intimidated, or don't feel fearful into accepting this manipulation. Every time they do this manipulation with me, they say some mean things and torturous things I'm going to deal with. So yeah, they'll cut your feet, they do this and that. For example, something they just did as I was making this video, actually, it's like the little kid over there at the bottom looks like a little girl. I don't know if it's a little girl, dressed like a little boy, but looks like a little girl. And looks like she's 4 years old, around that age, right? 4 or 5. And they give me stimulation, and it's like, no, but you feel like that. And then, it shifted from this 9-year-old that they were messing with me early on to this like 4 or 5-year-old, what looks like a girl, maybe is a boy, but looks like a girl. And make me think, yeah, no, but you see there, and they gave me this sensation like, no, but when you were a kid, just bringing up this child act that I did when I was in middle school, and she'd be like, no, it feels like that, you see, we're matching to that, and then creating this sensation and stimulation. I'm like, I know you're playing my brain. And by the way, regardless if it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. I'm being manipulated in this way. So they're doing this, and then immediately they tell me, yeah, you're gonna be cut in pieces. They talk about some torturous things, like I gotta run to that. I know that for me to have what you just made me experience is my brain being changed around. And as a child, I didn't experience that, but to try to make me identify with this by saying that what I'm experiencing now toward this younger kid over there, that 4 or 5-year-old kid over there, is you making me experience what I experienced when I was a child, just shows the obvious stupidity that you want me to be acceptive of, that by doing that will not make me be a mentally handicapped individual. because it's clear that children's brain is not comparable to an adult brain. Do you need an MRI imaging? Of course, at this purpose, I have no shame. Tiger Vigil, be strong. The clowns around you want you to identify with this. They even saying we're mapping to you when you were a child. Basically, we're seeing that experience that you experienced when you were a kid. And basically, we're making you think the way you used to think as a child. And saying that as if this is not the most mentally retarded thing they just said. Because basically you tell me that you're making me a mentally handicapped individual. Right? There's not too long ago I found there's this workshop that was about the different cases of teenagers and adolescents that happened within a few years. And some of the cases were a 13-year-old who was involved in murder, and they used MRI and neuroscientists to show that the brain of a child is definitely not the same as an adult. As you can see, the structure of a brain of a child adolescent is not at the same level of brain of a fully grown adult, right? And they were able to show just that is a difference. Now, this is obviously not even needed, right? We all know that the brain of a child is not fully developed. You don't need to be a neuroscientist to know that. They know that very well. And by them just even trying to make me think that we're just making you like a child, reminding it. It just shows how retarded they are to think that I'm going to identify with this. Now, the validation that there's literally actual MRIs that prove that is another level of just validation that these clowns are just clowns, but they don't need an MRI imaging to know that. And I'm not being manipulated me to be as a child. They're just forcing me to have these experiences and manipulating it and make me feel like I felt like that when I was a kid. In every ways you look at it, it's stupid and illogical and idiotic, if anything. But they are not here to be logical beings. They involve in a program where children are being tortured. This is not about sensicalness. They're involved in something where children are being harmed. This is a program where human subject consists of even children. There's no need to have a back and forth with these clowns. It's clear that they're here to do foul things to people, inclusive harming children. That's why it's worthless to even have a back and forth. See them as this. They know you're being manipulated. They've drawn and signed up something that tortured children as young as the child over there. The youngest. And of course the oldest. Those are the people who are supposed to convince you that you're not being manipulated. And if anything, they're making you be you when you were a kid. And you should think of it like it makes sense. What I just added there is just the screenshot of this case. Now, of course, they don't need that. These people are not this idiotic, okay? I just love to put this in their faces because they really want you to take them as somebody, of a group of individuals truly are serious about this rationality. They are clowns and trash who clearly are altering your brain in ways that are degrading, and they create the desired experiences they want you to experience, and it's degrading and consists of perception manipulation and libido manipulations and memories and different other emotions that they can control you to experience, and they want you to identify with that. Stay strong, Tiger Major, and don't be scared. Like I said, they tell me I'm going to be jumped and beat and this and that. Whatever's going to happen, I'm going to run to it. Like I said, intimidation, fear tactics will be utilized, and they're utilizing it for me. They've seen that I will go to it. I will not run away. In whatever pain I go through, I'm going to run through it. Because I found this now as a purpose. My purpose is to ensure that the clowns involved in this shit, wanting you to identify this manipulation, do not even delude themselves. If they see me becoming fanatical enough to run to some sufferance, it's just clear the reason why I'm doing that. is because I will never want you to live in a fantasized reality where I even thought I was not being manipulated. They try to play with me, and I'm gonna wrap this up after this. They were trying to mess with me because there's a time before I was being manipulated that this kind of content is the content I would love to watch. Refreshing, wholesome kind of content, family, wholesomeness, heartwarming kind of content. Today, that's not it. And they try to give me this weird feeling in the beginning, but with the sexual stimulation. So kind of combining sensation stimulation and try to concoct it and try to mimic it to how I would see it before, but with the sexual stimulations, with some manipulation that's sexual, right? Rewiring it, reconstructing it in different fashion, and try to be like, yeah, you see, it's refreshing. No, it's not. It's disturbing, and you're doing that. You're rewiring this wholesome family short video into something sexual, aiming toward these babies, these kids, from the 9-year-old to the younger one over there. That can just stay strong and do not identify with this.